All right, guys. Thank you for joining. Sorry, of course, for being late. Had some work things to take care of. But where we left off at, we were going over the theory of auto negotiation within Cisco switches, right? And how that works via the physical interfaces, right? And so what I wanted to do today, right? Of course, every time we have a theory day, we have a lab fun day. So we're going to go over, of course, how it looks in the lab and configuring auto negotiation, changing the default setting, right, on a physical interface on a switch, right, and then going from there. We went over it a little bit before, but that wasn't supposed to be done on purpose for the lab. So we're going to do that, show you guys how it looks in a working environment versus a non-working environment, and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead and pull up an application that you guys would use, and hopefully you guys are using to learn, to learn some of your things that you're studying about in your book, which is Cisco Packet Tracer. I'll move it over here, right? And just sidebar, I know a lot of people ask, can you pass the CCNA with just Packet Tracer? Yes, you absolutely can. You can definitely pass it with just Packet Tracer, but I don't advise it because, of course, you need multiple resources to verify theories that you learn. I may explain it one way, but somebody else may explain it another way, which makes sense and also confirms my theory, just said in a different way, which works for you. So definitely highly advised, use multiple resources. If you're able, right? If you're able to get physical equipment, it is expensive. eBay, you could probably get it for, affordable price, roughly like 100, 200, 300 people they sell old labs. Actually, I actually have to sell some of my old lab equipment, but you can go ahead and test there. But Packet Tracer does the job. It's mobile. You can go ahead and just do anything on there, right? Of course, there's some limits, but you can mostly do things that you do in a physical environment, in this virtual environment that Cisco created. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and jump into the lab, right? So we have, right, we're talking about switches this chapter, right? We're talking about configuring and verifying, right, the switch physical interfaces, right? And so main topic today is auto negotiation, right? So let's go ahead and jump in, right? And we're going to pull out two switches, connect them together, and let's try to replicate what we learned about in our theory and see how it looks in a working environment, how it works, and go from there. So I'm going to get two switches at 3650. Get a 3650, put a power supply in it. And if you don't know Packet Tracer, it's perfectly fine. We can have a session on that as well. But I'll leave this to you guys actually learning, because some things you do have to learn on your own. All right, so it's powering up now, right? So I'm going to let it power up, and I'm going to mute myself, and whenever it's ready, then we'll get started. Okay, perfect. All right, so it looks like, the switch has finished booting up, and I'm actually on the first switch, switch 0, as they call it, right? And I'm going to get through the dialog, and we are going to go ahead and jump right in, okay? So I'm going to first, like I showed you guys before, whenever we log into a switch, we're going to be brought to user exec mode. Once we get to user exec mode, you guys know what we have to do to get to privilege exec mode. We need to go ahead and put in the keyword enable, right? Of course, you can shorthand it and do en. That works. That brings you to privilege exec mode, right? Quick review, right? But our goal, what we want to do, is we want to go ahead and, sorry about that. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and make changes to the device, and we do that by going to privilege exec mode. So to get to privilege exec mode, we need to type in the command configure terminal, right? Or we can shorthand it and put config T. Okay. So once we do that, we go ahead and put config T. Now we're in global configuration mode, and this is where we can make our changes, right? And so a couple of things I want to do first, right? Because we went over how to verify your speed and your duplex, right? So we're going to go over that, right? And we're going to go over verifying our interfaces. So let's go ahead and do that first. So the command we're going to type in, we're going to go back down to privileged exec mode. And we're going to type in the command show interfaces status. Okay. So, right, we have our gigabit interfaces, right? Tells us we have, gives us our information, the port number, right? Tells us the name, which of course the name translates to the description that you set under the interface, using the description command, right? The status, right? Whether it's whether there's something connected, or if it's administratively shut down using the shutdown command, or right, or in this case, it would say disabled under here. That would be the value if it's administratively shut down. Of course, the VLAN, right? Duplex and speed, right? So everything is set to auto. Nothing was changed, right? And we have the type, right? It tells us it's a 10, 100 base TX, right? Of course, it's a gigabit interface, so that, don't take to heart to that, because that may be different, right, once we get a connection. So let's actually also, before we jump right in, let's check how the interface configuration looks, right? Because remember, in our last lab, right, mistakenly, right, not on purpose, but we actually found out that in some cases, right, that's configured on the interface, right? That's actually configured. Negotiation is actually configured on the interface, and it's actually a command. So let's make sure that it's not set there. So we're going to do show run gigabit 1/0/1, right? Okay, so that didn't work. And guys, whenever something like that does not work, it doesn't work because, of course, it's older code, right? And sometimes it just doesn't work. So let me go ahead. There we go, right? So it is older code. So we're not able to do show run interface such and such just yet. So we're going to do show run with the interface, right? So I don't see, just like before, I don't actually see negotiation auto set. Doesn't mean it's not set in the background, but let's keep going, right? So first thing we're going to tackle, right, is, setting up auto negotiation, right? In a working environment, right? And how does it work, right? So we have two interfaces, right? We have two switches, I'm sorry, and we're going to connect two interfaces together, right? We're going to connect 1/0/1 on switch 0, and we're going to connect 1/0/1 on switch 1. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a cable. Okay. Okay. Do that. There we go. And I'm going to choose 1/0/1, and I'm going to connect it to 1/0/1. Okay. And I'm going to do it this way so you guys can actually see. Okay. So I get a message, right? Get a syslog message like you guys learned in the previous chapter. It's telling us layer 1 is up. Okay. Interface gigabit Ethernet 1/0/1 is up. And of course, layer 2 is up, right? Because it's telling us line protocol, right? And that's up, right? And that state changed to up. Okay. So let's go ahead and check again, right? Whoops. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and clear it out. And let's do a show interfaces status again. Okay, so here's what we see, right? We see connected, right? It auto negotiated, right? And it's telling us the speed. Let's also use our other command as well, show interface and the interface name. So let's see if it's possible to put that there. Yep, it actually is possible. Let's do 1/0/1. Okay, perfect. All right, so we see here, right? It is, of course, it's up. Line protocol is up, right? It has a specific MAC address set to it for the interface, right? And so, of course, we see a couple of things. We actually see, if I'm not mistaken, see. Yep, and that is gigabit, right? So that's gigabit, right? Because yep, that's 1 million kilobits. Exactly. Yep, that is a gig. So we are good. Everything's well. Everything looks good. So it's running at a gigabit. Okay. So here's where the fun begins, right? And we actually see, right? We actually see it working well. Here's where we're going to go ahead and set up, right, one side to be, you know, working in a non-auto negotiation state, and one side will be, right? And remember the golden rule that we learned, right? Right? So for the speed, right, on a Cisco device, right, it's going to sense the speed without using auto negotiation, right? It's using those electrical signals, right? And it's going to base the, the speed that it receives data. It's going to say, okay, I'm going to set it to that speed in the duplex as well. So for gigabit 1/0/1, I'm going to go ahead and set it, we're going to set it to 100, right? Set the duplex to full. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go to global configuration mode. Let's go ahead and go to the interface in question, right? Because that's where we want to make the change, right? So we do 1/0/1, right? Now let's go ahead and make that change on the interface. So first we're going to change the speed, all right? So see what options it gives us. So it gives us 10, 100, 1000, and then of course auto. We're going to set it to 100, okay? And then we're going to set the duplex, okay? So it gives us the option for duplex. Take a look. It actually does not. Actually does not. But no matter. No matter. So we're going to go ahead and keep rolling, right? I think you guys seen it before, and I'll let you guys look at how it looks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interface and see how it's running now. Show interfaces. Status. Okay. All right. So see, duplex is still set to auto, right? So it didn't change there. It didn't statically set there, and it's probably a config that I need to find out, or find out where to change it. So I will find out. As a matter of fact, we're engineers. We can go ahead and figure that out. Give me 1 second. This is let me do it in front of you guys. It's a 3650, okay? 3650, 24 port, 24 port, change duplex. I'm showing you guys this because of course, everything is not perfect. And, sometimes you need to use your Google food to go ahead and resolve the issue. Okay. So let's go ahead. See if it gives me the option. Take a look. If anybody has it here, typically somebody. All right. If it gives an option. Bigger. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Either Ethernet ports operating at do not support. Okay. Option. Let's see if it gives us an option to flex. Let's see, let's take a look. Okay, perfect. So it's not showing us here. Wait, hold on, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, so there's no example here, right? So I'm going to default to as, of course, it's not possible. Okay, so no worries. We've seen it before. And of course, if you guys want me to do it in my next lab, I can, right? But we can set it right there, right? And let's go to the other side, right? Let's go to the other switch and see if it made the adjustment, because before it was running at 8,000, okay? So let's go to switch one. Okay. All right. So let's do a show interfaces. Okay. It's connected, right? To the show interface gig 1/0/1. Okay, perfect, right? So this, right? And let me just, this is the important part we want to see, right? In kilobits, right? 100 megabits per second equals 100,000 kilobits, right? So this tells me it did auto negotiate on its own side and said, I detected how fast data is going, right? How much electrical, based on electrical signals, and it downshifted its speed, right, to 100,000 kilobits, which is 100 megs, right? So we see how it looks whenever just one side is configured, okay? So we are good to go, and that actually gives you a brief look of how auto negotiation works, right? So practice this in your lab. I will be sending everybody that's attending this live some new labs to do to test out, and your packet tracer has been a while. And of course, if you got any questions, reach out. And tomorrow we will continue on with learning the theory of configuring and verifying switch interfaces in chapter 7. You can have a great day.